Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft, where we are here in Akui. In the last episode, of course, we did some building, and I gotta say, thank you for all of your feedback. It seems like many of you enjoyed this as much as I did building this. This is, of course, our aquarium shop where the fishes like to hide out of sight, and we've got to get this ready for customers to come down here to the shop floor, which I have been working on. Look at this, it's got a real nice vibe to it, and we've got some display cases with some fishies of a particular type, but what they love to do is hide. Look, they're always sitting down the bottom there, right? And with around 26 different types of fish, I kind of realized this project could have been way bigger. We could have made a display case for each different type of fish, but this is just the way that it's worked out. We're going to have 6 in total, and the ones on this side aren't finished because as I was building all of this, I was thinking, I really wish I was recording and showing off the building process. I love how this looks right here. The colors really bounce off one another, and the randomized terracotta patterns in the back there look super cool. Once you go and add the glass though and the water, it kind of takes away the vibrancy, so I had to leave this bit over here unfinished just to show you. And I did have another plan to use armor stands to put different things on these shelves in front of the barrels, but the barrels are where the different types of fish are going to go. If we can't fit them in all of these, I might have to expand it a little bit as well, which won't be too difficult. But if we put armor stands here with details, it makes it hard to kind of right click through them and open the barrels. So if we're going to put a different type of fish in each barrel, then that is the way it's going to have to be, which is empty, unfortunately. And then there are 2 other items we must not forget we are selling. I did forget when I was designing this room. Sorry, that face is just so derpy right there. And after looking around, I realised this diorite space on the wall. No, a lot of you are not a big fan of the diorite. I particularly quite like it. Over here, we can simply just slap a barrel in, put the face on the front of it, and then it will become pretty obvious that this is the spot to buy them from. So I have solved our problems, because on the sides here, I've moved the barrels forward, so we get the best of both worlds. We've got details in the middle on the shelves and stock on the sides. There is, however, a slight problem with our stock, and that is that I did not accumulate enough of the pufferfish. And I've only got 1 for sale, and this one's slightly more pricey. It's 1 diamond for 1 pufferfish, and everything else is 1 diamond for 2 fish. But we do have one other item to sale here, and that is that shulker box with 1 of each type inside of it, and I don't really know of a good way to display this, so I'm probably literally just going to dye it, put it here and have a sign on it saying, you know, this is worth X amount of diamonds if you want it, something like that. Special order, all unique name tropical fish, just 9 diamonds. I think what we need to do is just grab a shulker box with the same fish in and put it on the other side. So a little stocking up is in order, and then the shop will be ready for business. We've still got to build the sides, but there's something that I built out the front here. I've done away with the old aquarium logo, and now we got a derpy pufferfish face. And this, my friends, was actually sent to me as a suggestion by Rick Breaks Everything on Twitter. Just a reminder, if ever you want to share ideas with me, Twitter is a great place to do so. So I want to thank Rick for this fantastic feedback. You can see that they provided a bunch of different ideas here that can be scaled up against the building, and they actually took inspiration from my Season 3 base where we had the potion factory floor with the pixel art for all the potion ingredients. And pixel art may just be the main criticism here. As much as I love this, it doesn't feel very Akui. There's nothing else like this around here. Maybe that makes this unique and stand out, or maybe it's not quite the thing to do. I'm not sure. As always, I'm looking forward to reading your comments and getting some feedback. So from one type of pufferfish to another, we need to get our hands on more of these bucketed ones, right? And from this farm, we don't actually get a lot of them, but I found a way with some manual effort to actually get a fair few. Just a little bit of effort, and I managed to get these. So I've made some modifications to the farm, which currently isn't running. You'll see that we now got 2 of these bucket pickup stations and 2 of the enchanting tables where we stand through and pick up the tropical fish like this, and then throw them down onto the ground where they go through into the storage area. Slight problem with the one I've got over here, the daylight sensor actually always gives out a redstone signal, so when you drop your bucket after using it in this space over here, where there is a pufferfish, bam, I got him, it will just sit on top of it. So I've got to think about that a little bit, but you need the height difference in order to actually get to the pufferfish. And so you clever clogs out there have probably guessed it. We had a problem with the pufferfish glitching through the glass. Now there's a couple of them in there. When they see me, the player, on the opposite side, they get bigger and that actually pushes them through the glass block out to the other side. So now when we pop back over... I'm in the cobweb again! This has happened so many times, it's painful. So now you can see our pufferfish is, or both of them actually, are over on this side. So when I'm standing here, it's then a tricky game of trying to scoop them up. And you can see, don't always have that much success. So it's more a case of using that bit AFK for a while, then coming over here and scooping up a few more. And since this daylight center thing don't work, I guess I'll just manually put them in there. Now it's entirely possible that this could be automated further. The real trick is that the pufferfish themselves are kind of a pain to pick out through that gap, and most of the time you just get a water bucket. But either way, this will work for me. I will happily fire up the farm, sit here for a bit with those loud pistons going off, and then manually scoop out some pufferfish. And it's without a doubt been a success. This modification is great. We've got 2 full boxes of pufferfish. And I managed to catch them jumping over in the process. So what you're looking at right now is just me recording them in action with the camera count so you can see how that works. And so not only have we got all of those, we've obviously got tons of stuff in here to take back. Although right now I'm just going to bring this with me because I've made another box of each and every type of the tropical fish. But this right here is good to stock up our store. And that means that we now got 2 of these sets for sale. And we've also got a full stock of pufferfish. And if you notice the frames getting a little bit choppy, we've just built so much stuff in this area that the frame rate is starting to drop. You know, it happens after playing in a world for over a year. But anyway, the big thing now is the sides of this. We've got the front facade done, but the rest of the building don't look right. Wow, you can really feel the frames getting choppy as I fly here. What is going on? I'm actually running Optifabric, and I think it's making the frames worse. Yep, Optifabric or Optifine, I actually get better frame rates without using that. So I'm going to stick with, you know, the vanilla thing. But anyway, I was trying to make a point here. It's time for us to start building. Let's get some music going. Let's do a time lapse and build up the backside facade. Aha, so we've gone for something rather dark on the back here. We got blackstone, we got basalt to complement it, and I've tried to go for a 3-tiered depth thing. We got the blackstone sticking out at the very front, then we got basalt, more blackstone, and the glass here, it needs to be converted to glass panes. I kind of made a mistake with that, right? But the idea is generally to not put in as much effort as we did into the facade at the front. This is where all the fancy stuff is. And now we just want to intelligently make this simpler building look good. And, you know, part of the way that I've done that is with some randomization of the textures here. And there is a little method to the madness. There is some randomization to the textures with certain ones appearing lower down and then other ones appearing higher up. And you'll notice that I've just kind of like tidied things up at the moment. And this is my little lookout post for checking out the build. You'll see that we've got this bit going across the top here, and I've tidied up the windows. And on the sides that you just saw, we have the blue of the aquarium. And then over on this side, we've got the dried kelp, kind of tying up other textures behind those windows. So the next job is to take the front and wrap it around the sides. And when we go over the back here, it's going to kind of square off in that space and leave us with a bit of an awkward transition at the back here, as we're probably going to end up with like a big, ugly diagonal wall. And we will deal with that space in a moment. Right now, we've got the top of this thing done. Although the top, it kind of needs a top. I have not designed like the final bit to go on top yet, but you can see what we've done here. We've taken the front, we've wrapped it around the sides, we've got bigger windows over here, and yeah, that's about it actually. It's pretty much the same thing, just wrapped around, and now we've got this awkward space to deal with. So back over here on my lookout tower at Impulse's base, which has received a makeover recently. So yeah, this is what I was talking about, like kind of run out of ideas here. It's not the worst thing ever though, really. It's just structurally, I don't know, kind of industrial feeling. So we got a diagonal wall and then this like pillar base of basalt to hold up that section up the top. And with that, I think I can say that we're done for now. However, I feel like maybe this building needs to get taller and I'm going to put something on top. But for now, I have no plans for that and the shop is open and ready for business. And sadly now we will leave Akui, but I wanted to take a moment just to show you Scar's new build here. Gorgeous. Love it. He tore down his old one and built one slightly bigger than B-dubs. But yes, this is a wonderful place, very inspiring, and we're going to head out of here now for the rest of the episode. But not without some very important stock that we're going to advertise to another hermit on the server. And that hermit is the Goat Father himself, Doc M77, who currently has a different resident at his base who's been expanding this mansion into a chateau. Yes, Cubfan has been over here making what was once Grian's mansion even bigger and putting all sorts of cool and colourful contraptions inside of this place. And you know what I realised? We recently found the goatfish. That's right, the greatest of all-time fish will probably be right at home in this spot. So I'm going to build a little aquarium. It's definitely not going to be fancy, and we're going to drop this off to advertise our shop. Aha, yes, the goatfish. More available at the Akui Aquarium. I will let the current resident know that this is residing outside. One thing I've got to say, it could have been a bit more of a remarkable fish. You look at that and you're not thinking goat, but it is indeed the goatfish. And as I leave this place, I'm reminded that Cub made Doc a really cool nether hub. But look at this down here, dang. I mean, I could walk through this gap. On this side, though, check this out. Whoa, that's amazing. I mean, whew, Doc's gonna love that when he sees it. Anyways, we are heading over here to the gaming district, which we haven't been to for a while. And we are looking for something. I'm not sure where this actually is. I was attracted to the honey. This isn't it though. This is sticky bombs. I think I may have found it. I mean, this is it. This is the grand entrance. Oh, no, we're going up. We want to go down. Let's drop all the way down here. I don't see water at the bottom. It's a death trap. Ha, but this is it. This is Tango Tech's game of Among Us. That's right, Among Us in survival Minecraft on Hermitcraft. That is what Tango Tech has been up to. He's doing it with the redstone. He's doing all of the redstone magic over here. And he's recruited a couple of other hermits to come along here and help him. So in the game of Among Us, there are lots of different rooms with activities for the players to do. And as you go around doing those activities, some of your teammates, I guess, are not actually on your team, right? I've only played Among Us a couple of times. I really enjoyed it though, but I'm probably butchering the explanation of the game, right? And so if you're one of those that actually hunts down the teammates and sabotages the mission, you can move through the vents like this. You can see Tango is pulling together all of the elements of the game and building it in survival Minecraft. Now this beautiful room right here was put together by B-dubs and it has an amazing roof. The roof is actually one of the things we're not going to be doing. See, when players have died, they're still going to be a part of the game, and because of that, they need to be able to roam around on the roof. So, in some of these other areas, you'll see it's all sort of been flattened off, and that's what we're doing over here, which means we're not actually going to be building a crazy amount of stuff right here, but what we do need to create is a sheep pen. Now, the activity the players are going to do here is going to be really simple. It's a case of shearing the sheep. So therefore, I want to make this room like as interesting as I can, despite the main activity being rather simple. So the player's going to need to get some shears from possibly a dropper. I think what we'll do is give them iron, and then they have to travel in and craft it and then shear the sheep. Now Tango has asked for 10 to 15, which kind of sounds like a lot, so I'm going to make sure that the sheep will always be fully grown with wool is the general idea. We also got to make sure that they can't escape. That's very important. We've got to keep them in this room. And so I wanted to go above and beyond and build a giant sheep face that constantly spat out sheep. Look at this. I've just noticed that the trapdoors down there, not trapdoors, fence gates, they kind of open and close with the pressure plates. Yeah, anyway, design flaws, right? Here's a big design flaw. No grass. If I shear them, which I can do, the wall might not actually fall somewhere I can pick it up, which could be part of the activity to try and get it back again. In fact, the wall's now kind of circulating and spitting out the front here. Yeah, and then I pick some up. That's great. But then they don't regrow their wall. So I had a backup plan, but I love this idea so much. I think I should maybe experiment a little bit more. You see, sheep, they can eat grass when they're inside of a minecart. So this, for example, would be a way for us to keep the sheep safe and it can't escape. But it can also then eat the grass that's underneath. So then I thought, well, why don't we do like a merry-go-round, right? Have a track that runs through the area. Then the player has to go craft their shears and try and grab the sheep as it go by, which will be very simple. But I don't want to give up on this idea just yet. And here's a problem. When we put water above grass, it can turn to dirt. But the key observation here is that neither of these sheep have eaten the grass. That doesn't mean they can't eat it with water above it, but it's certainly not promising so far. So I think we're going to play it safe and go with the sheep in the minecarts on the minecart rails, and we'll keep the sheep's face and use this as well. So we'll have a track where the sheep go in, and then they'll come back out again, and somewhere in this room it will loop around. So the sheep will go in a circle. Now the reason they go through into here is because we're going to create like a storage cell system where they can sit on top of grass, and that grass can regrow so they can eat it and regrow their wool. Now I have brought with me some key materials, which are going to be oak leaves and oak logs, and what we'll do is we'll kind of create the feeling of being inside of a forest and a canopy. Now we're allowed to place blocks up until where that stone is or where that netherrack. That's going to be a solid floor that the dead players go over the top of. So we can kind of build like a canopy layer and have leaves dangling down from it, and then, you know, some of the oak logs around the edges will look like the tree stumps. And there it is. The mood is developing in here. Obviously, I've got to go around and put in a lot more leaves. Having some that dangle down just add a lot. And in the corners here, we're going to try and cluster them up a little bit as well. Problem is, I'm starting to run out of leaves. I need to do a resource run because I also want to replace the stone around the back here with something more interesting. And interesting it is. This place is looking fabulous. The atmosphere of these leaves is wonderful. But now, with these blocks over the back here, it brings that sense of hills and skies off in the distance. And really ties the room together. Obviously, we need more things on the ground, on top of the grass, like grass itself and flowers and whatnot. Anyway, something Tango suggested was putting in a bunch of bushes, like in the middle of the room as well. So these will act as obstacles, essentially, and they will break the line of sight with the sheep that roam around on the track. So it makes it a little bit more challenging to actually get in there and shear the sheep and collect the drops, but there will be little ways to walk through to the various places. One of them being a crafting bench, and the other one being a place to pick up iron. And I kind of wanted to do this in an interesting way, but I think it's ultimately just going to be an iron block with a chest below it. But then I remembered we have armor stand magic on the server, so if I pop that out, pick it back up again, we'll put like an iron block in the middle of the barrel. Hopefully you'll be able to like right click on it and open it up. Okay, we are working some armor stand magic right here. I've had to rotate the whole thing around so that the armor stand isn't inside of the block, and therefore the block doesn't go dark, but you can click on it. Ah, there we go, we've put it back. Oh, that's blatantly something that's going to happen to the player, right? Or maybe not, because I can lock the armor stand. So now you can't click through the middle space, but you can click on the sides, right? This sadly has a big flaw. Do you know what it is? You don't need a crafting bench to make shears, so you don't then need to go to the other side of the room. I don't know. We'll leave it there. So now this place maybe feels a little bit overgrown. Tango will of course be able to come in here and tweak some things as he sees fit, because of course we've got the vents and things like this to be considered, right? And some of these bushes are breaking up the view. But anyway, the last ingredient is having sheep go around in a circle, and I've designed a system where we can store them in the back, they can eat grass, and then one of them will go round at a time. And for me, this is a little bit of a throwback to the very first days of me making Minecraft videos where I made animal breeding cells, because it's kind of using some of the same trickery here. One big problem, I don't have any animals down here. I don't have no sheep. I don't even have minecarts on the track yet, so you need to use your imagination. So this detector rail will detect a sheep coming in, and it sends a signal off in that direction and this direction. And so when that happens, these rails down here alongside them will all get powered at the same time. And so the sheep coming through will land down in this space, and it will no longer be powered. So then it's parked here, and it's got grass below so it can eat. And then all those other sheep that move forward by one, they all sort of drop round to the next cell. I've missed a bit here. That needs to be powered. And then the one that's sitting in the very last cell gets to come out here and do a lap. And then it makes its way all back round here, and the whole process repeats itself. So my friends, it's been a busy old episode of building, and I need to tidy up my chest monsters, and we need to get out of here. And you're probably thinking, but X, you didn't finish the project, you didn't get sheep in there, and you're absolutely right. However, I've kind of like run out of my time before releasing this video on Mondays. You know, I like to stick to my schedule and all that. And sometimes when I come up this water stream, I immediately walk over there and fall back down again. It's kind of silly. But yes, we do indeed need to get sheep, and Tango is not in a rush to get Among Us up and running. He said he's got a long time to go before it's going to be ready to play. So we've got plenty of time to search for sheep. He also like offered to take care of that for me. But what I think I'll try and do, wait a minute, is meet up with him on a stream or something like that, so we can have fun doing some mob gathering shenanigans on a stream. We got one, you know, we need two on the island so we can breed them and get more. Anyways, one final thing, or maybe two final things that I wanted to mention. One is that I'm starting to become diamond broke, because all the building materials I needed in this episode, I just went and brought them as opposed to farming them myself. That's just because it's a lot quicker to buy stuff, right? And the other thing is that I've started playing some modded Minecraft on my live streams. You should follow me over on Twitch if you like the sound of that. I am playing Skybees, which is a perfect fit for me. Xisuma, as you know. Yeah, so if you're interested in that at all, I'll be streaming on Twitch, and you can catch those live streams on my second channel. Maybe you're a fan of modded Minecraft, not seen me do that before. I'm not professing I'm good at it or anything, but I've been having a really fun time, so I thought I'd let you know what I've been up to. Anyway, that's it from me this episode of Hermitcraft. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye!